All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High, His only begotten Son, called Halay and La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, root and teach well, Wabarakathum to the hopeful elect. All right, today through the Spirit, I want to go into a video entitled Serving the Lord Above All, right? Serving the Lord is above everything, all right? And that's what makes us useful to the Lord. That's why he's going to preserve certain men, because they served him. You had faith and you feared. That's why the Lord said, when he comes, shall he find faith. So our faith and our service toward the Lord is more valuable than how much riches we have or, what level we own. It doesn't matter. The Lord is looking at your usefulness to him. You see, and that's why I want to go into this quick lesson. This is just exhortation. It says, Proverbs 15, 16, and 17. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith, right? And a lot of people, they go through all types of, they have to make all these big sacrifices to be rich and to try and have a spot in this world. And it leads to them having, they're pricked in their mind, especially when you go into the more upper echelon of Israelites, having to be around these little hats and, be in an environment where they messing with them kids and stuff like that. That pricks your flesh to see that. And then you have to partake in some of those rituals and certain things too. Right? But you can preserve yourself by just, you able to maintain your morale, and then you just be in whatever position the Lord bless you to be in, instead of trying to have that super high exalted position in the hands of the wicked. We're in a kingdom of the wicked. So when the wicked is in authority, sin and transgression is going to be put to the forefront. So people that are on top here, they having to partake in and subscribe to a lot of wickedness and just keep their mouth shut about it. Right? This verse 17, it says, better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled oxen with a stalled ox and hatred therewith. Right? And that's this world is foundationized off of hate. Nobody hold each other accountable. It's all about just wanting up everybody, and it's all jacked up. These rappers be getting each other killed. These super elite rich, they just all trying to just take over each other businesses and stuff like that. It's like everybody's trying to capitalize off each other. It's not no true love. So they having all these fancy dinners and all this stuff, but it's no love there. So that's what it's talking about. You see, I got some more precepts lined up. Ain't really no order. This is Revelation 2 and verse 9. It says, I know thy works and thy tribulation and thy poverty, right? But thou art rich, because he's talking about rich in what? The faith. You see? Because let me see. I think this is Ephesus, this church on this chapter. Yep. So the church of Ephesus was going through a lot of persecution and hell, right? And you had a lot of, just like we have camps now, you have a lot of guys that are like, oh, we're Judeans, we're the top church and all this stuff, but yet they're not really walking that walk that Yahushua walked, and they're all proud and boastful, all about exalting themselves. You see, so this was like an exhortation to the church. It says, I know thy works and thy tribulation and thy poverty, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan, right? So they come in that spirit of being adverse to what Yahushua stood for. Like not pushing the true names, not pushing the true prophecies, like saying Jacob's trouble gonna happen, not going into the MOTB. This is the same things happening right now. No new thing is under the sun. So you have a lot of camps doing the same thing, because like they started to lose the faith when Yahushua, when he went back up there with the Heavenly Father. You see, they lost faith. They started pushing all types of faithless doctrines. See, what that letter was like an exhortation to these various churches. The Lord revealed to John the Revelator. All right. Let's go here. This 1 Peter 1 and 6. It says, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations. Right? Peter was saying to be happy when you're going through hell, because they going through hell for the sake of the ministry, for the sake of Yahushua. Right? Because you're going to suffer straight things regardless, especially in these current times we're in. The type of leader going to make everybody be in straits and be in a difficult situation. But being in a difficult situation for the sake of the Lord is a thing of rejoicing, because you're going through persecution, or you're going through hell to battle this flesh. You're going through hell to lead to you getting that eternal kingdom. So there's a joy in that, because this is refining you, while everybody else, they're just getting jacked up. You're being refined through the tribulation and through the hell. This is 1 Peter 1:7. It says that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than gold of gold that perisheth, right? The trial of our faith is more precious than riches and gold. And gold is true money. You see, that's the true measure of money. Money is supposed to be backed by gold or backed by something, like an asset. But in this society, it's just a piece of paper, a reserve note. But back then, money was backed by gold or silver. You see, but it says our faith is more precious. Like the testing of our faith is more precious than that, because it brings you closer to the eternal Father, Yahweh Shai and Yahweh. You see, it says, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. You see, so the trying of our faith will refine you and bring you closer to the Lord. So that's more precious than having riches or having a spot in this world. You see, this is 1 Timothy 6 and 7. I just want to get, I can get more. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain, right? You maintaining your morale. You serving the Lord is better than having a whole bunch of wealth. Because you can have all that wealth and then the Lord can just judge you, and then you just like that, you cooked. You see, but what gives you a way to get delivered from being judged by the Lord? By serving him, fearing him. It says, verse 7, it says, for we brought nothing into this world, and we certainly can carry nothing out, right? So when you die, you're not bringing your riches or bringing whatever you built up with you. Not even the same body. Your spirit is going to go up. So that's all you should care about is growing in your spirit and bringing your spirit closer to the Lord. You see, because your works that you did for the Lord is what follows, not what you've built up in the flesh. It's what you built up in the spirit. Verse 8, it says, and having food and raiment, let us therewith be content, right? So being content with having what we need, not what we want, we have what we need. Because you get what you want and the pleasures in the kingdom when Yahweh Shah returns. On this side, even if you did sacrifice and do all that, you're still never going to get what you want fully, because it's not like ultimately the Lord gave the earth to the hand of the wicked, and the wicked is never going to let somebody that's not related to him be on his level. You see, because then you're going to fall in right here. This 1 Timothy 6 and 9 NLT, it says, but people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. You see? So you got to go deal with all them rituals and do all that wickedness just to try and get a pinch of what the elite have in the society. But they're never going to let somebody under them be on their level. So it's not worth chasing that. All right, it's Philippians 4, verse 11 and 12. It says, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content, right? To be happy to have that relationship with the Lord and still be serving, right? Verse 12, it says, I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere and everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to be bound and to suffer need, right? So we're going to be in these various situations, but the ultimate important thing is you still have the faith. That's the true riches. This wisdom. All right. This is Romans 11 and 33. It says, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of the Heavenly Father. How unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out. Right. So the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is the biggest. That's the biggest wealth, having the knowledge of the Creator. You see, that's above any riches you can obtain on this side. All right, I got these last three. This is Sirach known as Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and 10. It says, oh, how great is he that findeth wisdom, yet is there none above him that feareth the Lord. So you can have you can have wisdom, knowing how to apply certain knowledge from experience. But what does it say? None is greater than him that feareth the Lord, because the fear of the Lord leads to you being obedient to the Lord. And that's what the Lord is looking for, his servants, those who act upon their faith and their wisdom. You see application. He's looking for those that are willing to apply, willing to sacrifice. You see, this Sirach knows Ecclesiastes chapter 40, and I'm going to get verse 26. Riches and strength lift up the heart, but the fear of the Lord is above them both. It says, but there is no want to them that fear the Lord, and it needed not to seek for help. So your help gonna come from the Lord, because the Lord's gonna preserve you everything you need if you serving Him, right? So that's what we got to focus on, is continuing to serve and be useful to the Lord. That's what makes you valuable to Him, not how many riches you have or what spot you have in the world. Because that's these people seeking the world, and then when judgment comes to them, or when they get abased, they be surprised. But that's what's gonna happen. That will happen to anybody that's outside of this truth or outside of serving the Lord. You're gonna get abased. It's the last one. Sirach 23 and 27. It says, and they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than the fear of the Lord, and that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed to the commandments of the Lord. See, so that's the best thing you can do. That's where your value come from. As the brother one was saying at our camp in GMS Dallas, our value comes from our usefulness to the Lord. The way you make yourself useful is by having faith, by believing in the Lord and doing what He said, man. So that's above all riches and spot in the world that you can have, man. Anyways, Lord willing to edify, I'd like to end it all by saying, call hello, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash, Debar City Apostle Elders, Great Millstone.